What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Urstory. This is a little change up on what we typically do because we're in Chelsea's house. She's from Crush Customs out of Atlanta, Georgia. And thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
This is going to be a fun one.
I think so.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So we always started off. Tell us about your drink of choice.
Okay, so tonight it is Prosecco. I don't have a flute, so it's in a wine glass.
That's fine.
And I've been known to put ice cubes in my wine. It is actually usually tequila, but we're out because I drink it so often.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a part of your story, it seems like.
Is it?
Oh, 100%. I mean, I'm drinking like Comfort or Creature Comfort, which I see this everywhere.
Yeah.
Right, it's a Georgia beer.
Yeah, it's a Georgia brewery. Thanks for the support.
Of course. Well, I just got to say, over the last 2 days, well, first off, we're in Chelsea's house right now, and you just made one of the best meals and a much needed meal for all of us, which was shrimp and grits, which is home to this part of the States, and it was incredible, so thank you for that.
You don't come to the South, and you don't come to my house without eating. Like, everybody knows that. You don't do that in the South.
Well, it seems like Michael told me about 47 times sitting here tonight how happy he was to have that.
Yay!
So
That's
great.
Exciting. I'm so glad.
Well, I got to say that over the last 2 days, it was by far the most energized and fun we've had with any group. You bring a full team with you and posse, and it was just so much fun having you guys over to the house. And you could just tell the love and excitement and just joy you guys have with each other. And it all stems back. I mean, we met your whole family.
Yes.
Just about. So
yes.
Tell us basically a little bit about your upbringing, because you guys are super close. It seems like.
Yeah,
and your mom's super badass too.
Yeah.
So kind of give us a little insights to your childhood.
Okay, so I have a really interesting background in sales because I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness. So I had to sell Jesus every Saturday, and that's a hard sell. That's a really hard sell. Saturday mornings, 9 o'clock in the morning, that's the last thing people want to hear about is Jesus.
How did you get into that?
How did I get into that? How did I get
forced?
Put into that? Oh my God, do you understand? I was ducking my neighborhood, hoping my friends wouldn't see me. It was interesting. It's you do what you grow up in and what your parents introduce you to. And so I was third generation. So both of my parents were Jehovah's Witnesses and their parents were Jehovah's Witnesses. And it was just kind of like, what it was. So that's what we did.
How old were you when you were knocking doors?
Oh, I mean, I'm sure I was in a stroller knocking on doors, like for that long. I'm not, and my brother and my sister, all of us. Yeah. But what's interesting is like, we got such a great, and I'm not practicing anymore, and that's not, and that's not part of my story now. But I would be remiss if I didn't mention it, because really, I mean, when I think about it, how much of an effect it had on me as really, I mean, you have to come to a place where you push past fear to knock on a stranger's door.
Yeah. There's no fear in your body now.
No. And but what's interesting is within the church, we were taught how to hold conversations. We actually were a part of this ministry school where they would give us a topic to discuss, right? So whatever the topic was, I mean, why Jehovah's Witnesses don't celebrate holidays or something like that. And then they would give you a setting. So they would say, Sister Allen, you're in the workplace lunchroom, and you're talking to your peer, your workmate, or whatever. And then you have to develop a whole skit between you have to write it yourself, and you have to base it on the Bible and the Bible literature, and then you have to demonstrate different things having to do with public speaking. Wow. So you would have all these bullet points that you would have to work on, like. And
this wasn't with a team; it's you yourself.
This is like two people sitting on stage in front of the whole church, and that's
Wow.
And everybody had their turn, your assignments. And so you would have to do things like, okay, Sister Allen is working on points 15, 18, and 22, and they would be like, hand gestures and eye contact, or use of scriptures, things like that. So, but so much of it had to do with public speaking and voice inflection, things like that, overcoming objections. So, I mean, I was raised to be a salesperson.
Rebuttal queen.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So it was interesting. I mean, that was our lifestyle. What's really interesting is that it's a very common religion in the automotive industry.
Interesting.
It is.
Really?
For whatever. I don't know why.
How did you figure that out?
Because I knew so many people in the car business.
Oh, makes sense.
Yeah. So many people. So it was really interesting. And great people. And it's you know, it's not, like I said, it's not a part of my story now, but it definitely made me a great salesperson.
For sure. Mm-hmm. And where were you born and raised?
Savannah.
Okay, so it's a couple hours away. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's just a sales side too, but you're an entertainer as well.
Yes.
You think that has something to do with it too?
It
or were
does.
you just born a singer?
Okay,
By the
well,
way, talk about a voice. Oh my gosh. It was incredible.
I was really
What you
nervous
sang-
the other night when I sang for you. I mean, my voice was like shaking. It was. I could get in front of like thousands of people and be okay, but the people that, you know, if you're that close to me, it's a little jarring. But I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Oh, we enjoyed it. It was one of my favorite songs by far.
Good.
By far. I love Alicia
Good.
Keys. I've always, the way she
Yes.
plays piano, the way she sings.
She's
just
amazing.
super, she just grabs you.
Yeah,
takes
she
you in.
does.
Yep.
She does. She's a songwriter too. I'm a fan of good songwriters.
For sure.
But yeah, my mom, it does kind of, because this is funny because within the religion, it was looked down upon to do group sports or like school sports or anything like that. So we weren't allowed to join the soccer team or be on the cheerleading team or things like that. So what my mother did was she started taking us to dance class at a really early, at age 4. She put me in dance classes, and I was a dancer before I was ever a singer. So I danced for years and years and years, and my mom, both my sister and I, because that was what we could do.
Yeah.
And I just, the fact that she did that was, and I mean, she sat outside of my dance classes, and while she caravaned my sister and I back and forth to dance classes forever. And we had a passion for it and a love for it. And I think another reason why she did that was because she didn't have that growing up. And so she wanted to provide us with experiences and opportunities that she didn't have. So she started us in dance. I graduated high school, and I went to a performing arts high school. I was referred by a teacher at a middle school, performing arts middle school, to replace her because she was leaving to go teach elsewhere. And so she brought me.
So you were gragraduating, and then you
Graduated
became a
high
teacher,
school.
basically. Right
I
out of
became
high
a
school.
teenager or a teacher right out of high school.
Wow. Wow.
I know, it's crazy. I can't believe they let me do that.
Yeah, how did you get that passed?
Well, so because it was a magnet program, they were able to hire contracted artists.
What's a magnet program?
So a magnet program, you guys don't have magnet programs?
We might. I don't have a child.
I think you do. You do. You have to.
Do we have magnet programs? No magnet programs.
Okay.
I'm getting no from the crowd.
Okay. So, nobody? Magnet program? Wow. Okay. So magnet programs were designed to basically racially equalize the student population. And so you guys might not have them because you might not have that, or, the Midwest might not have as much of an issue as the South does. But what happened in the South when they integrated schools, about 40% of the student population, white student population, went into private schools. So what you had were public schools that were just as segregated as before integration was a thing, right?
Yep.
So how do we bridge the gap? And the way that they did that were magnet programs. So I was a product of a magnet program. I went to a performing arts magnet program elementary school. So when I tell you I went to elementary school in the hood, like there were probably 3 housing projects surrounding my elementary school. But the program was amazing because it got so much government funding because they're trying to integrate the schools, and the whole goal was, let's draw these kids that are a minority. And for some schools, they needed to bring in white kids. Some school needed to bring in black kids. But the whole initiative was to integrate the schools.
Cool.
So I was able to go, and I taught at a middle school that was it was in a underserved community, and so I was a teacher for 3 years there, and I had probably 300 kids that
300 kids in 3 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I had an amazing program. Like, some of my students are still dance teachers. They're still dancers. I
still see them around.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
It was like a super rewarding time in my life.
Do you think if your teacher, or if it was a teacher at the time that asked you, if you think if she wasn't retiring, that would have been part of your story to go and become a teacher at a school?
No. I thought I was going to. I wanted to be a fly girl from like In Living Color.
What's a fly girl?
Oh,
you're educating me now.
Okay, In Living Color was like the best TV show ever in life. It's where Jim Carrey got his start. J-Lo got her start. J-Lo was a fly girl.
All right.
She was a dancer.
I understand it now.
And like, so that was like I wanted to be her.
Yeah.
Before she was J-Lo, she was a fly girl. Rosie Perez, like they all got their start there. The Wayans brothers. You got to go back.
I'm going to. I'm going to get educated now.
Yeah, but I definitely had big dreams of like doing big things.
Yeah. Did you ever take dance, like as a career?
I danced professionally for a few years with a dance company, and we traveled. I went to West Africa, and I studied West African dance, and I did a lot of that. My back still feels the
pain.
The pain. Yeah, so I was able to do that for a bit, and then I kind of veered left. I had children, which was not a part of the plan. And when I do things, I do it big. So not only did I have one, I had 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I had twins. And,
who are awesome, by the way.
They're amazing,
they're
right?
sweethearts. Yep,
I mean,
they are.
Like, yeah, I was made to be their mother.
Yeah.
Like, didn't matter what I had planned. That was the plan.
Right. Was it hard? I mean, becoming, how old were you when?
21.
21. Was it tough in your life to have children at that age?
Yeah. But I mean, I look back now and I'm like, it's just like, I don't know. I think all mothers, just like you're scared to death, and you're like, how am I I can't even be responsible for myself. How am I going to do this for somebody else? And then you are like, wow, I'm responsible for people. Like, I made people, and they look at me. I have to feed them and make sure they survive. This is crazy. But you just find a way. You find a way.
And what was that way?
Well, I got into the car business. I joined the family business, which I had. I mean, I think I saw my mom do it for so long, and I thought, I mean, I was appreciative of what they did.
Yep.
But I thought, like, my mom did what she had to and not what she chose to do. And I really wanted to choose what I wanted to do. And then I found myself in a position where I had to do what I had to do. So it was like, okay, let me do this. And but it's still, it gave me flexibility, which is really what I needed. So I was still able to kind of like be creative and still like pursue the things that I wanted to do as far as the arts went.
Yeah, being an artist and performer is still a big part of your life. Mm-hmm. And it was. I mean, you're traveling artist, 100 shows a year,
Yeah.
Right? How are you?
Not that many anymore, but yeah, I was
But at
doing
the time
that for
it
a
was, right?
long time. Yeah, I was doing that for a long time.
So how'd you jump in? I mean, going from motherhood, working, now the family business, to now realizing you're still not still a performer, but
Yeah.
you want to take that and be part of a career as well.
So I was, I don't know. I was probably at a point in my life where I was just like, okay, I'm a mom, and this is where I am, and I'm kind of like settling into this. Definitely still dabbling, writing music, but not really doing anything with it. And a friend of mine, her daughter saw a advertisement on MTV for auditions for a reality show that they were doing called Making the Band. Well, it was already in its third season, and I had never even seen the first. I didn't watch a lot of TV or reality shows at that point. Anyway, but my friend called me and she said, Jerry said you need to go audition for this, and I was just like, okay, like, all right, I'll go. I mean, sure, let's do it. And my friend and I got on a train, she got on a train from DC, and from New York, and I got on a plane from Savannah, and we met in DC, and I stood in line, and it ended up out of 10,000 auditionees across the U.S., I was one of the 40 that actually made it onto the show.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was like audition after audition, and I kept going like I'm still here. So it was a combination of like music, singing and dancing. So of course the dancing I was super confident in, but I was like, I don't know. I was like, I feel like I'm a dancer that sings, and I don't, it was like this weird thing. I didn't have a lot of confidence, but I made it, and that was like the first time I took myself seriously as an artist, because I was like, okay, well, maybe I shouldn't give up on this. Maybe I should just keep going. It was like that type of thing. So I had this great New York experience. With Diddy and that whole, like, it was a golden era for reality TV. And my life changed like crazy for a while.
Were you getting a lot of calls after that, I assume? Being on a TV show?
Yeah.
On the professional side of it, like, from...
Not as much as you would think.
I feel like it would.
Huh?
Yeah, I feel like it would. I feel like you'd be getting calls left and right.
No, not as much as you would think. But I was ready. Like, I was so ready
Prepared,
for that to happen.
Yeah. Well, what is that process? You get on the TV show. I mean, were you still in New York at the time, or DC at the audition?
No, by that time, so I came back. So I didn't make the band, which, I made the show, but I didn't make the band.
Got it.
So the band was Dan Eddie Kane. I don't know if you remember Dan Eddie Kane. No.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. You didn't miss much.
I feel like I've missed your whole life.
You didn't miss much. That's horrible. I'm not bitter at all. No, but so that was a thing. I came back home. Life in Savannah after I left New York was forever changed.
Well, how long were you up in Savannah for?
Well,
I mean,
was
not Savannah. How long
in
were
New
you
York,
up in New York? Yeah.
For like 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah. And praise my mother. She between my mother and my sister, they took care of my kids while I was gone, which was insane. Looking back, I'm like, oh, they hated me so much.
Yeah. How old were the girls at the time?
They were, this was 2006, so they were like 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's an age.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was a huge sacrifice they made to let me go and just make a go of it. So that was pretty awesome. But yeah, so I came back, and I was like the Savannah celebrity, which it felt great, but I was just like, okay, maybe something big will happen. And well, they sign you in these contracts where even if somebody did call, you're signed. Like, I was like signed to Bad Boy for a year and a half. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, you know what they do with those things? So MTV, after you go through this whole process and you're on a high because you're part of the 40. I think out of the 40 they brought us down to like 20. So you're the final 20, and then they take you to Times Square and MTV headquarters, and you sit in their boardroom and they hand you the papers. and they're like, sign this.
Did you know you were going there to sign anything?
Huh?
Like, could you prepare for this and call?
No, they're like, you can have your own attorney look at it if you want, or we got ours that you can consult with. I'm like,
yeah,
like,
we'll take it.
What are you gonna do? Like, you're signing your life away, but you're gonna say no at that point. So yeah, I think one girl actually did say no, and she left.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, they bind you. So, I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, it's still, like I said, I had the best New York experience. It was amazing. But anyway, life came back to Atlanta, joined a funk band, did that for a while, and then honed my skills.
Yep.
And moved to Atlanta in 2009.
What did you move here for? Why did you decide to leave
Music.
Savannah? I didn't realize Atlanta was as big of a music mecca until actually meeting Cinescope and some of my friends that are in the industry. I was like, oh my gosh, I would never have guessed that Atlanta is as big as what it is.
Yeah.
So you followed a music career here, or hoping to have a career here, I guess it would be.
Yeah.
So what would that take you to?
I mean, I was like, it's not going to happen in Savannah.
Sure. Makes sense.
I was like, okay, I'm going to have to go somewhere else. And so I came to Atlanta. I had bought a house in Savannah, and I was waiting because this is in 2009, right when the housing market crashed.
Yep.
I couldn't find somebody to rent my house for the longest, and I was really trying to move, but I was also like totally upside down in my house. Oh my God, I cringe now just thinking about it. But trying to find somebody to rent my house for what I was paying for a mortgage was a challenge in itself, which was a lot of people were going through that at the time. But I found a renter, and I think in a week, like I found a renter, but it was like my what do you call it? The property manager was like, yeah, but they got to move in like next week. And I was like, all right, let's go. I mean, seriously, like I called on my friends. When I came here, I was in a U-Haul. I didn't have a place to live.
You just knew you had to be here.
Yeah. Is that crazy?
That's awesome.
It is crazy. Kids too, though.
Oh, your girls were with you. Okay,
of course.
Might be a little crazy.
But you know what? I found a place.
That's right. Where was it? Where'd you stay?
Dunwoody.
Yeah.
I found a beautiful place in Dunwoody. Yeah, it was awesome. It was perfect.
So I ended up, once you moved here, what was your process then to, kind of make it into the musical career?
I started back into the car business. Well, I never stopped in the car business, but I was like, I decided like, okay, this is a great market. So I'm going to actually partnered up with a friend of mine that was a manufacturer of chrome accessories, and they wanted to penetrate the Atlanta market, and I was like, let's go. So he loaded up a van full of chrome accessories, and he was like, okay, there you go.
Figure it out.
Figure it out. I knew nobody. Like, it was like, but again,
door knocking.
Knock.
All goes back to home, right?
I wasn't scared. I mean, I went in, I was just like, hey, this is what I got. And yeah, I mean, a lot of those relationships I still have. People awesome. And people, I would go up to dealerships and I would tell them what I had on my van, and they'd be like, okay, well, when are you going to have somebody come back and do this? And I'm like, I'm going to do it right now. And they're like, what? Yeah, I'm going to install it right now.
That's a challenge.
It wasn't that difficult. It was to me. I had done harder things, but I mean, it was a challenge getting in.
Sure.
You don't know anybody, and so it's like, yeah, that's a challenge.
Which, from what your story you've already told us, getting into the car industry would be the last thing I thought you would say that you were getting into. But it spans back to your mom and dad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they were pinstripers.
Yeah.
Right? It's kind of how they started, and obviously when you guys were children growing up in it.
Yeah.
And seeing
My dad started out with 2 products, and I think they were pinstriping and white walling tires.
You can white wall tires?
Oh, that was a thing back then. Do you not know?
Like
Grant,
taking black
you
wall?
have so much to learn.
No, I was just born too late. Take me back a couple generations.
You're showing your age, right?
I'm showing my age, yeah.
Yes, you could white wall tires.
I had no idea.
That was a thing.
I love white walls.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the coolest looks.
Yeah, it is. Old school.
That is old school.
So yeah, that's what they did. But then they expanded their business, and so they really did everything. I mean, they were the first customization shop in Savannah.
And when you were growing up, this is what they were doing.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
And then they split, and your mom ended up sticking with it.
Yeah.
And she's still sticking with it today.
She's still with it.
Which again, when I saw her, when she walked in, I was like, oh my gosh, she must be a supermodel. When she walked in, legitimately thought about your mom when she walked in the house.
So glad you said that on camera because I am so. You don't understand. This woman she doesn't know her power. We try to tell her all the time. She's so humble.
Oh, she's the most humbled woman. Yeah.
I mean, she's so humble.
She really is.
Like we went recently. We visited her hometown. Like we went somewhere else, but then we kind of took the scenic route and we went through her hometown, and it was just like. She showed me, where the house that she grew up in, where it used to sit, and it's like off like a railroad track and like a silo, and like it's so. When I tell you she has come from the most humble beginnings. It is like pure sheer will that she is where she is today. And because it takes a special person, like most people are products of their environment. They do what they see their parents and everybody else around them do. And she just decided that she wanted more for herself. And I just admire her so much because she's a constant learner. Constantly. She's
you could
constantly.
Tell the way I was talking with her, I definitely got that vibe.
Yeah.
That she was learning just by the questions too. And I was like, you're the one that's the legend here. I'm the guy that's new here, and you're the one that's the legend that's been doing that. I should be the one asking you the questions.
I know.
Not the other way around.
I know, but
it was so amazing? Cool. Yeah, she's so well spoken, so like you said, so humbled. Just a great presence to be around. You could tell she loves all you guys. The whole family all the way through. She loves just being part of it and just being in that. Everything.
Yeah.
Yesterday was just really cool to watch. Just to watch her interact. And how much love she just has for her kids. And
she
how
really does.
Proud of you guys she is, and same way, how proud of you guys are of her.
Yeah, I tell her all the time, like, you changed our whole trajectory. I mean, one person can do that for a family and generations. And the way that she did it is, they say you can fish for a man and you feed him for a day, or you could teach him how to fish and feed him for a lifetime. Like the things that she's taught us are things that we use in our business and our everyday life, and the things that we will continue to pass on to our children.
What are a few of those things?
Independence. Yeah. That's a big one. Resilience. I just don't give up. I mean, pure stubbornness. There's been times where I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I still here? Like, because I know that there's things that I could do that were easier, and just like just getting up every day and just keep going. Definitely got that from her. Kindness. Definitely, like I said, always learning. Yep. Just always be a student.
And what are some things too? Because obviously this is, well, not obviously, but it's kind of just what it's become is a business based around men. And your mom was one of the first women to kind of join this industry. Mm-hmm. What were some of those, if you can remember, those first like mom power woman, like just going in and just taking over? What were a few of those memories you could think of?
I just remember my mom being really adamant about me not dating anybody in the car business. Like, oh my God. Yeah, she was pretty protective of us in that situation. I don't know.
I mean,
it's
even
so
over
interesting.
the years,
it's like
she's been doing it for 30 years? Right? About
43.
43. Whoa.
Yeah. 43 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because I when I think about I don't see her as this like, I can't, I'm sure there were those, I know there were those moments, but I don't see her as this like, this person that's really, I don't know, take charge, kind of like, if you mess with me, I'll smack you around kind of person. Yeah. Because she does everything with so much class. In
relationship, I could tell, it's a person I could call tomorrow and just talk to her and be like we already have that relationship.
Yeah.
And it would just be super low key, chill.
Yes.
Just have this conversation and it'd be great. And that's kind of, that was the energy I got off of just our conversation we had over the last couple of days with her. She's cool. She's really
like
cool.
The classiest person.
She really is. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, taking your trip from Savannah to Atlanta, what were some of the struggles that you saw when jumping into the business over here and kind of having to start from scratch?
I mean, 2009, the automotive industry was rough.
There one? Yeah.
Rough. Yeah. Was there one? That's the question. Right? That's the question. I mean, it was really tough. Nobody wanted to spend money on anything. So I think I was doing pretty good when I was working for my mom, and when I was in Savannah, and I was like 2005, I probably made like 60 grand, and I was like, this is decent money, It's like, and especially for the hours that I worked, because I made my own hours, and I was like, that was like 2005. So I was making decent money, and then I come to Atlanta, and I think my first year I made like $24,000. So I really took a nosedive, and I don't know. When I think back now, I'm like, I do not know how. I was shocked to find out that there were no after school programs here, at least the area that
for the twins.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I moved in the nicest neighborhood because they had the best school system. But they didn't have after school programs because guess what? None of the moms worked. They didn't need them. So I didn't know that until I had budgeted everything out. And then I found out I'm going to pay what I was paying for my mortgage and after school care just so I can work.
Yeah, can't do that.
I mean, I did do that.
Oh, you had to do that.
I mean, I had to. Yeah, I had to. And I found ways around it. I mean, thank God I developed like a community. I ended up hiring like a part-time nanny that helped me, and she was cheaper than a after-school care, and she really helped me out a lot. And we're still like really good friends to this day, and she's still a part of the girls' lives. But that was a challenge for me personally. The car business was like nobody wanted to spend money. And it was like I was selling a product that it enhanced the vehicle's appearance, but it didn't really add intrinsic value to the vehicle.
Sure.
Right? So I could put a $400 chrome package on a car, and because it was like all about the chrome. So I could put that on a car, but a bank wasn't gonna forward that money it wasn't gonna finance that. And because the banks were in such bad shape, every penny counted. So to try to convince a dealership to add $400 to a car when they were already struggling to the penny to finance deals through banks that were suffering was really difficult. But it was just like, throughout that experience, it just made me tough. And a lot of those relationships that I had then, I still have. And I think it's really cool for them because they remember that. And they remember my kids, because I would bring my kids to the dealership with me when I had to. So they've seen my kids grow up, they've seen my business grow up, and it's been a real journey for all of that.
Part of the community.
Yeah. Finally, I think I've earned my stripes.
I think you have. Yeah, I think you definitely have.
It only took 12 years.
Well, there's a lot of, the come up's been there for you too, but there was one struggle there with a business partner, if you don't mind sharing, because I know, but it's big. Here's for a couple reasons. A lot of people go through, I don't want to say similar, because I know it was pretty, it was devastating, but a lot of people go through partnerships in a business and think it's the best idea ever.
Don't do it.
So if you could
partnerships, they said the only ship that doesn't sink.
Other than your able submarine, that one does.
Oh my God!
If you could just speak about kind of when that relationship flourished and then the reasoning it was a bye.
I think I was really naive in thinking like I found another woman in the business that I thought was going to be like, because we were in the same business and because she had a lot of, I don't know, she was one of the other people that I just thought, oh man, she's dynamic. She knows her stuff. One of the only other women that I had encountered that I felt that way about. And I naively thought, okay, well, we're two women that are good at what we do, and we're going to get together and we're going to ride into the sunset. This is going to be great. And I was just really naive. I actually, and maybe I'm a glutton for punishment, but I actually can't say that partnerships don't work, because I think that they can. And I think where I went wrong was I did not do the proper research. I did not have the right paperwork to, because it's like you enter into a partnership and you involve an attorney and you make sure all your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted, because you want to stay friends with that. If you're friends, you want to stay friends with that person. Not because you don't trust them, but you want to stay friends with them.
True. Yep.
Right?
100%.
So, and that was something that I didn't realize. It was just not in my area of expertise, and I was just naive about it. So it did not work out.
Was there a time that you realized it didn't work out? Was it immediately?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. How long did it take you to finally part ways?
6 years.
Whoa. You battled for 6 years? Jeez.
I was not myself for 6 years. I was a shell of myself for 6 years. Like, it was bad. And I hate that, because I was like, I felt like it was my fault. And it was. But it was because I felt like it was my fault because I put myself in that position.
Sure.
And I just felt like I couldn't be there, emotionally for my kids and my family, and because I was in such emotional turmoil all the time. It was really bad.
I'm happy you're on the other side.
Oh my God.
So what did it take? I mean, after 6 years of basically going through that,
COVID.
Oh, really?
Do you want to hear a really crazy story?
Of course.
You're like, she's got him. Okay, so I was at the point where I was like, I got to get out because I have to protect my energy, right?
Sure. Yep.
We've spent a couple days together.
Yep.
Okay. You've experienced who I am.
Fully.
Right. Okay. Yep. So my energy is I would say good, right?
Uplifting.
Can you imagine
Yes.
me being like?
No.
Right. Like a third of myself. It would you wouldn't have recognized me, right?
No.
All right. So I finally decided, okay, my energy is worth more than this. So I have to separate myself, and this is not worth my sanity, right? So I was like, okay, so I've got to leave. So what am I going to do though? This is all I've done for this many years. So what am I going to do? So I was looking for a way out. I was trying to find another career path. and I went and got my eyebrows microbladed one day. Do you know what that is?
I do.
Okay. Oh, you do? Look at
Winner.
you. Congratulations.
Cheers to that.
It's the most amazing thing ever, right? I was like, this is life changing.
Well, okay, let me clarify. I never
Okay.
had it done. I just know what it is. All right. Can I clarify that?
Yes, you can.
I'm more the waxing type.
Really?
Wax it up.
Okay, well,
I don't know.
I mean, you got pretty good. You got decent.
They're bushy. They're there.
They're good.
big.
They're good.
They
They're
fit the large
shapely.
face. Yeah, they're in it.
Right, yeah.
They work.
I mean, some people are just like nothing, eyeballs and nothing.
Is that what this was?
Yeah,
was
it's
it
like,
that kind of microblading?
I mean, it can't. I mean, well, no, I have something, but mine were getting a little flat line, so I need
Yeah.
a little plump. Okay. But anyway, so never mind eyebrows. I went to go get mine done, but my artist was booked like 5 months out. At the time, she was charging like $600, right? I'm like, wait a minute. So I'm like, I sit in her chair, and I'm like, so, there's money in this. And I was like, what did you do last year? And just, if you don't mind me asking. And she was like, well, I took some time off because I had a baby, but, you know, I did about $250 last year. And I was like,
Woo.
doing eyebrows. I was like, oh, I think I found my calling. So I was like, do you have training? And she said, yeah. And I think like a month, or no, it might have been a little bit longer than that, but I was in training. So I am
You buy all the
trained.
tools?
I bought all the tools. I am a certified, I'm a tattoo artist. I have a tattoo artist from the state of Georgia. Yes.
That's so cool.
But I do body art, okay? But I started this business because I had to find a way out. That's how bad it was, Grant, when you're willing to leave a business you started.
And loved.
And loved, right?
Yep.
And so I had a little salon suite, and I would literally work at the office, and after work I would go and I would do clients.
Wow.
Right? So I did that for a few months. One day my hairstylist, she tells me that she has a client that's a man that needs eyebrows. And she's like, Chelsea, he really needs help. Like, he's like, and he's Irish. This Irish guy is like again, you know, eyes, hairline, like nothing in between. So I was like, oh my God, I've never done a guy before. It was like freaking me out. And I was like, okay. So I did all this research. I'm like, oh my God, I was so nervous. So the guy gets there, and he brings his wife and everything. And of course, you know, it's nerve wracking for somebody else to sit there and watch you while you're doing it. She was nervous. She was asking me 1,000,001 questions. I was just like, oh
Nightmare.
my God, these people. Right. Yeah. So, but I did a really good job, and he was really happy. And somewhere along that way, I told him what I did and that I had a business that I was trying to sell. And he says, "You're trying to sell your business?" I said, "Yeah, I got to get out. I got, you know." And he said, "Well, here's my card. Give me a call." He was like, "You know, you want to talk about some things? Like, let's sit down." And I was just, he's like, "Do you need an attorney?" And I'm thinking, like, probably, yeah. But I was like, I can't afford it. I just started another business. I had one that was like in the shitter because I was 1 foot out.
Yep.
And I was like, all right, well, I'll call you, you know, but I'm thinking like, I know I can't afford this guy. I know I can't afford this guy. So I call him up and I'm like, hey, you know, this is Chelsea, just, you know, if you have any time to meet with me, whatever. And at the time I had somebody that wanted to buy my business for like $40,000. And so he said, I need you to come to the office. He said, bring X, Y, and Z. You know, bring your financials for the past 2 years, your tax statements, like all this stuff. Bring all of that, your partnership agreement, bring all that, and let me take a look at it. So I go to the law office, and I'm like, okay, like I already thought before that I couldn't afford him, but now I know I can't afford him because this place is insane, right? It's beautiful. And I walk in, and I'm like, okay. So I had this whole boardroom. It's just me and him. He looks over my financials and he's like, Chelsea, don't sell your business for 40 grand. He's like, I'll buy it for 40 grand. He's like, are you kidding me? He's like, you have a great business. He's like, I'm so proud of you, what you've done. I mean, it's this like, you've done a really great job. Like he was like, it just sounds like you need to get your business partner out of there. And I was like,
he had no idea.
Well, by then I had told him like the whole,
Okay.
you know, he was like, it just sounds like you need to get your business partner out. And he was like, get her out. And then you can decide what you want to do with the business, you know, just like, but do that first. And, after that meeting, I never talked to my business partner again.
So how'd you get out?
That man held my hand.
Oh, he did it.
Pro bono.
No way. That's awesome.
Angels.
Really, truly.
I would have never met him had I not started a microblading business.
Think about that. Are you still friends with him, I hope?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I've referred business to him. I mean, like he's my angel.
Wow.
Like, yeah.
Have you asked him why he decided to do a pro bono?
No, I've never asked him that.
I'd be interested in that.
Yeah, I would
Not saying
too.
it wasn't you aren't worth it, because obviously you are. But I've always wondered why people do certain things.
Yeah.
That's something that I would, because obviously you just tattooed a man.
Yeah.
Eyebrows.
Yeah.
I'd love to say give him a plug right now, but I don't know if he wants those two things to go hand in hand.
So what I didn't add was that he was a partner of the firm, and he is a mergers and acquisitions attorney.
So it's right up his alley.
What are the chances?
Yeah, what are the chances? Yep.
That this man ended up on my table for eyebrows that was the exact kind of, not only was he an attorney, he was the exact kind of attorney that I needed.
It's awesome.
I mean, it's crazy. That's why I said it's like whenever I look back and I'm like, why? Like I so many days, like I woke up and I went to that shop and I was like, and sales were declining. Everything was declining because I had pulled back. I had stepped away. I had already decided like, this is not worth my health. It's not worth my emotional instability. I mean, I came home, I cried every day. I mean, I got so sick, like it got so bad I wouldn't even talk to my family about it because I was like, I'm sick of hearing about it. So I know they have to be sick of hearing about it. So, but every day I was just like, why am I doing this? But then on the other side of it, it was so guess what else happened after that made it possible? COVID happens. We're in talks with my partner about getting her out, buying her out. And so I applied for my PPP money. I was granted it. I put that in an account, and with my accounts receivables in a different account, where it was able to use my accounts receivables to pay her off.
Oh, that's awesome. What are the chances of that?
When I tell you it was like the perfect storm.
Truthfully.
Like so many things had to happen for that to happen.
Yep. Truthfully.
And now I look back and I'm just like, that's why I'm just like, I don't take for granted at all where we are, because I mean, it took a lot to get here, and all that time where I was just like, why am I doing this?
Yep.
It's finally like, oh,
Makes
okay.
sense now.
Like, oh, God, okay, God.
And when was this? What year was this?
I mean, COVID.
So last year? Oh,
2 years ago.
Still going through it? Yeah, but 2 years ago since you bought her out. Wow. Well,
Yeah.
Since 2 years.
I think I had 3 employees at the time.
I was going to say the business has thrived. Obviously, we were just there, so it's thriving.
Yeah.
We also brought somebody on, so we're going to take a break right now so we can fill up. But your little bro Cam came into the business.
Yes.
And so I want to bring him into here too,
Yes.
because he's an awesome guy too.
He is. He's amazing.
And kind of get his story too. So
Awesome.
Let's take a little break, fill up, come
Okay.
back. Cool.
Sounds good. Cheers.
Cheers. Cam, welcome, brother.
Hi.
Yeah, it's great to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. You've been a big help to your sister and inspiration as well. Just being, usually it's the other way around. It's, the old or the younger generation looking at the older brother and sister. But your sister's told us multiple times over this week how she's inspired by you.
Oh.
So there would be somebody better to have on here.
I think it's pretty mutual.
Well, cheers.
It is.
Cheers.
fam. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cheers.
thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Little story. I was actually my mother's Lamaze coach, and I was in the room with him when he was born.
Really?
My dad, myself, and my mom. So I was. I don't know if I was probably the first to ever hold you. Maybe Dad. I don't know.
Okay.
I think it was me.
Well, at the end of the day, I'm getting this out on film because your mom
Yeah.
told me in secret that Cam's her favorite.
Oh, of course. We know this. Like, that's not a secret.
It was a battle over the weekend.
Like,
It was asked multiple times. I got the answers.
You know what's tough about being the oldest and like the Miss Independent, and like nobody cares about you. Like nobody is concerned about your ass. Like everybody's just like, that bitch is gonna be okay. But then like my mother is like, is Cameron all right? Is he eating good? How does he look? Is he dating? And I'm just like, you don't ask these questions about me. But yeah, he's definitely.
But
the
in my
favorite.
defense, like, you know what's hardest for the youngest?
What?
Yeah, I don't know.
You're such an ass.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, nothing.
What's the
Nothing.
age? What's the age gap between you two?
12 years.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Were you guys close growing up,
Yeah.
or was it
Yeah.
really till you
Yeah.
got a little older?
No, yeah, he practically raised me. Yeah. It was like 3 women in my life, So,
That's great.
yeah.
I used to take him out and beat his ass when he was in church acting up.
Don't remember that.
I
There's
do.
a reason behind
I was
that.
like, I would tell mom, I was like, give me him. And I would take you outside, like, pop, 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 and bring you back.
Yeah.
Teaching
Wow.
lessons.
That happened.
Yeah. Well, Cam, that's why you are the man you are today.
You don't remember it, damn
Right,
it.
exactly.
Yeah, I
Thank
do.
you, I guess.
You're welcome.
Right.
All right, is this what goes on in the shop every day between you two?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is why it works.
I mean, yeah. We really don't argue.
We've been in one argument
Yeah.
since we started working together.
So give us a background on this, because Cam, you were
The
not even,
argument?
you always said growing
I wanted me to
up
laugh.
there was no way in hell you were ever going to join the family business.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was you were in
I
music
was-
and restaurants
no.
and
Yep.
hospitality, and then next thing you know, did you get the call or did you just know that your sister needed you?
It was both, but I definitely got the call. It was like, hey, like, this would be great. Like, you should come on and help out. And it started like a part-time thing, and then I was like, all right, like I see what's going on now, and I see that you need help. And I also was in a position to kind of like be able to do that. So, yeah, I just joined in.
He was doing landscaping for so long, and he was working for a really crappy boss. And I was just like, dude, you're working a lot. And for like, he was way underpaid. And I was just like, if you want to go somewhere and be underpaid, like, come work for me. What are you doing? No, I'm joking. I was like, come over, I got you. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely was like totally against being in the business. But I had it from a perspective of being young, being an artist, being like, who I am, and growing up in a small town, and only knowing the business for the people that I met. And, in Savannah, a lot of the egos I met was just something I wasn't interested in. So once I kind of thought about it and came and tested the waters and started working with Chelsea and realized how well we work together, I realized like we can actually kind of create the world that we wanted to see,
And what is that world?
Good vibes. I mean, yeah.
Definitely got that.
Yeah, I mean,
That's it.
really, it's pretty simple.
That's it, because I just don't, when people say like, it's business and it's not personal, I'm like, how do you separate them?
Can't.
You feel the same way?
100%. Always have.
Why do people say that then? Why is that such a mantra?
'Cause I think they try to take their personal lives and business lives and feel like they're separated and feel like they can be somebody different. But a lot of people, that's another thing too, I don't think a lot of people are well fit in their, or even comfortable in their professional lives. They're not doing what they want to do. So they feel like they have to be somebody else or do things that they're really truly not aligned with. So I've always considered, like I take everything personal in the business realm. Always have. I always will.
Yes.
And that's helped a lot too, because I'm super big on emotions and I'm even bigger on relationships. And I can never imagine having, deciding to do something from a business perspective that I wouldn't feel comfortable doing in my own life.
Yeah.
Like outside of business. It just doesn't, it's never made sense to me.
Yeah, you're like, this is something, this is probably the most personal thing.
By far.
It's something that I've created and spent so many hours building.
Yep.
It's like a child. Like you got to take that personally.
Yeah,
there's no way to not.
Yeah, I shared this on another Urstory actually earlier this week, and it's popped in my brain over the last couple months at my dad's funeral. Like when people got up there to talk about him, they didn't bring up his what he did in the business world. They didn't bring up all his accolades in business. But the one person from his business was the janitor that got up on there and talked about how every single day Alan Menard would walk in through the building and find him every morning and every afternoon, say hello.
Wow.
And goodbye. There was never like a separation between powers. My dad never saw it as that. Us kids never see it as that. We never saw him. We had a talk at the dinner table at the Airbnb. How when my dad would walk, like in Baltimore, the big lesson he taught us is he would walk up to homeless people, and instead of giving homeless men and women, $20, he'd say, "Tell me your story."
Wow.
And he would call bullshit a lot. He'd call their bullshit and say, "That's not your story." Say, "I want your story." And the minute they did that, wall broke down. They became human, because they were even stuck like in this homeless realm. I got to tell this story that's truly not mine. And then once my dad was like, "No,"
invoke sympathy or
to try to think like this is what I should say to for somebody to give me $1, and he was offering him 20, and that was a lot of money. I mean, he died in 06, so this is when we were, and this is like 2004, 2003. Like we were young, right? So but these are lessons that he taught us without ever teaching us. We'd also go through McDonald's drive-thrus, and he asked for pepperoni pizzas, which was hilarious. Or he'd be in front of Starbucks in the middle of Doylestown, our town. He'd be like, "Hey, rolling the window down the most obnoxious banner. Hey, you know where Starbucks is?" It was great. So he was also a jokester too, but he was very sympathetic with people that just needed help, which is kind of made us who we are today. But it was always about, hey, I want break down the barrier. There is no business. Every time we walked in, if we called his secretary, no matter what, if you say I'm in the biggest deal ever in my life, he goes, "You always patch my kids through. Never matters. There's nothing about this business that means more than me to my family."
Absolutely.
And these are lessons that I didn't realize, obviously, until you get into the business sense. But that's why I think there is no business life and personal life. No, it's like they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And so much of your life too.
Yeah. It's like one of my employees. So this is so funny. This is also a lesson. Like you teach people how to treat you.
Yep.
So like Christmas came around and nobody gave me a Christmas card. And I was like, nobody? Like me? The person that, I celebrate everybody's birthday, get birthday, cakes, give out bonuses. Like, what? Not even a card. And I was so hurt. And so my birthday's February 21st. So right before Valentine's Day, I stood in the middle of the shop and I was like, "Listen, you motherfuckers." I was like, beep. Sorry. "Listen, you guys. Jackrabbits. Nobody got me a Christmas card. And, that really hurt my feelings. And I said it in a joking way, but I was in a way that they knew, everybody was like, you could tell that it had never even occurred to them to do that, right? But then, so the next holiday was Valentine's Day, and I got bombarded with gifts, and then my birthday was, and I got bombarded with gifts, and I was like, that is so sweet. But I told that story to say, one of my guys one of his comments was, "Thank you for always making us feel like family." Okay. And I was just like, how do you do that and separate business from personal? Well, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, especially when it's a family business, because it's like,
we are family.
We are family.
You 100% are.
And
they all spoke to us about that yesterday too.
They did.
100%. They said that's the coolest thing. They said they respect us. And they treat us as if we're family to them, as if we're one of them.
That's awesome.
They said there's nothing different. We don't come in here and feel like we're here to work. We're here to grow this together. But at the same time, we have respect. So we're respected. Mm-hmm. But it all started too the night before when you guys were all at the Airbnb and we had the dinner and you all just like stood up and just started talking about one another and just giving each other so much love. It was so cool to see. And just to watch that. And even Cam, how was it? I mean, I can imagine, but how was it growing up with two sisters?
I mean, it's just
give the truth.
Two sisters? I mean, I was a sister. Yeah, it was fine. Nothing. I mean, no. Yeah. I mean, I don't even think about it, Yep. I felt fine. I mean, in my mind, looking back and getting to where I am, these are the most some of the strongest women I've ever been around. And being in a car industry alone and seeing what they went through and coming home and hearing what they dealt with gave me a big perspective. And I learned a lot. And, I have, a lot of admiration for them. I'm totally, I just have so much respect for them. I don't have no one else to say.
Yeah. Do you feel like a car guy now? You feel like you're...
I still don't.
Didn't you just get a badass interior though?
Yeah, we
did.
We did do the interior of my car. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I am a car guy. Tell my friends I'm a car guy. It's funny, but no, I'm an artist. Yeah. I'm an artist, and is my job artistic? Yes, 100%, yeah. Absolutely. So that's where I like to shine and where I like to put that energy forward. But, yeah.
But like you said, it was like we felt like, even though, because you are who you are, so we're both artists at heart. But then it's like, you can still, I think, do that and then create a space, an environment where it fosters creativity, innovation, and all that stuff, and that is a place that you're like, I like this place. I like to go to work to here every day, and so
there was a day where Chelsea kind of called me just out of the blue and was just like, hey. I was just like, yeah, hey, what's up? She's like, we should use this to do whatever it is that we need to do for ourselves. Mm-hmm. And then I think something kind of flipped in my head and I was like, oh my God, yes.
Right.
I mean, and then I think my relationship towards this business and my relationship toward even you kind of changed, and I realized I don't know, just something set in differently, and I wanted to put so much more towards this and to help each other out.
Right. Because instead of looking at it as because it's different. It's a different perspective when you grow up in the business. And you see your parents go, you see your parents in a business, and you're like, oh my God, I never want to do that.
Yeah.
That's
it's
worst ever.
Your hometown when you grow up in it, you don't see it at first, but now and then after some time, you come back to it and you realize, you know, it's kind of a similar idea.
So I was like, man, we're doing this together. Let's just make it work for us. I'm like, if you need to go away and do a gig for a week, or if you want to go travel or whatever, I got you, and we'll just we'll ping pong, and when I want to leave and I got a gig, or if I got something else I want to do, then he's got me, and it's just let's make it work for us. And so that's kind of what we've done.
I think after that conversation, we really became a team. Yeah.
So instead of looking at it as oh, this thing that, because really, it felt like that growing up, where you're like, oh, I'm doing what my parents are doing. This is a drag, and this is I'm caught up in it like they were. It's a different perspective, and okay, well, we take so much joy, both of us, in empowering people and creating this space where people can be, people really enjoy what they do, and then we're making it work for us too.
Yeah, I've said this before, but I think that's our strong suit. We may be coming at it from a different angle, but I think because of that, we have so many other areas that we shine in. And one of those you know, we love people, we love the relationships we carry in this business, you know, and we're both creatives, you know, and, you know, emotions come with that. But I think for the most part, it's really beautiful.
Yeah, Cameron often cares more than I do.
I don't look like it, but yes.
Quite often I'm like,
I heard some OCD stories about you.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
I'm like, let go. It's okay. Really. Like, screw that guy. Cameron's like, no. But yeah, So we work well together. I'm telling you, like, at the time that I thought that I was going to get out of the business, and when he came on, it was like, it changed things. It changed the game.
Would you say Cam saved it all?
Yes. Absolutely.
You believe that, Cam?
Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
You knew.
And that's why I say partnerships can exist.
Yeah.
Partnerships can exist.
Yeah, because you did.
When
you
they're
did,
right.
Yeah. You jumped right back in it. The family.
I mean, yeah. If I left tomorrow, like, I'd be worried about you. I mean.
Should be worried about me and everybody else. Yeah. I mean, no, but you could. I mean, yeah. You should. Have you thought about that?
Wait, about you gone?
You leaving?
Oh, no. Okay. We're good.
Yeah, that's why we brought him on. We want to tell you.
Sorry, actually,
bro.
this is.
He's coming back to Philadelphia with us. Yeah. We recruited him. Yeah.
Yeah, man, you can't replace family. It's like.
I mean, you know, I've been in and out of this my whole entire life. I mean, it's not like I ever wasn't in it, to be honest. You know, it's not like I, you know, was gone. I did say at one point I was never going to do it. Yes. Yeah. But, you know, it doesn't feel, I grew up, you know, helping my mom out on the side and pinstriping cars and doing all this other stuff. And I was wrapping cars at one point, you know, like, so, you know, it's in me, you know, I got it and I know how to do it. And I went off and did my own thing and managed a company and I know how to do all that. And I just applied it towards this. So, you know, it's nothing new.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know the business.
Taking those same principles and just plugging them in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I gotta say thank you. This has been an absolute blast.
Yeah.
Truthfully, last 72 hours with your whole family and your whole team. When I say family, it doesn't just mean the blood. It means everybody that we've interacted with. I think we can all say thank you for that because this is one of the most fun ones yet. So I want to cheers. I'm so excited for you guys too.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you everybody here. Thank you everybody at Crush Customs, Michael, Chris, Kyle, everyone at Urstory, and Cinescope for putting this together. Make sure you go online.
Thank you.
Of course. Make sure you go online, sign up for the free 30-day trial. And as always, guys, keep shining. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, Cam.
Crushing it.